to the 2020 Valley Mentors virtual reception. Good to see you in a virtual way. I'm really pleased that you're with us. We have really a terrific turnout, as I said, and we have really some of our area's most meaningful mentors, and I'm really grateful for that. My name is Charles Crumpley. I'm the editor and publisher of the Business Journal, and it really is my honor to recognize mentors in our community. But before we proceed, I want to take just a moment to thank our partners, the ones who really make the Valley Mentors Awards possible. So special thanks to our presenting sponsors, Mission Valley Bank and Wells Fargo. You know, this is the first time we've done this award, and it occurred to us that there are many great awards out there, all honoring achievement of some kind, and each one is valuable and great. But in talking it over, it seemed like there was one area where it seemed like we were missing, and that was mentors. Mentorship is so important, as you know. They're the ones who recognize talent and drive, and they take their time. They invest their time and step in to make sure that those prospects are groomed. And in so doing, they shape the next generation of leaders. I think we all have known and all have recognized over the years that successful people always give credit to one or two or maybe three mentors in their lives. And they always talk about how important they were in their development. So this is a chance for them to give acknowledgement to those who meant so much to them. So the following are the nominees who were chosen as finalists for our inaugural awards for Best Mentors. First up is Lee Cannon Alpert of Alpert Bar and Grant. He was nominated by Jane Skeeter. Next is Jennifer Arnett of B. Riley Financial. She was nominated by Hillary Pemberton. Next is Paula Behaman of Mission Valley Bank. She was nominated by Rachel Carrillo Vasquez. We have Michael Coleman of Transamerica Financial Advisors, and he was nominated by Adam Hancock. We have Dr. Sherry Corbett of Awakenings Treatment Center, nominated by Jennifer Goddard Combs. We have Adriana Cruz of You Frame It Gallery, nominated by Ina Arzumanova. I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Ina Arzumanova, and please correct me if I'm wrong. We also have Randall Davies of the Davies Rafferty Law Corporation, nominated by Shahab Rafferty. We have Diana Duenas of the Gelb Group, nominated by Vahid Khorsand. David Fleming, he's in the office of Senator Robert Hertzberg, and he was nominated by Lee Cannon Albert. Next is Karen Gabler of Light Gabler, nominated by Angela Lopez. We have Jonna Greenlee of Bank of the West, nominated by Bharti Sitar. We have Howard Grobstein of Grobstein Teeple, nominated by Jesse Chun. Next up is Michael Hiller of Hiller Enterprise, nominated by Vanessa Marokin. Next up is Kendall Klinger of Fiona Hutton and Associates, nominated by Ian Anderson. We have Peggy Matsuda of Peggy Matsuda Consulting, nominated by Rojin Keshanchi. How's that pronounced, Peggy?
Keshanchi.
Keshanchi.
You had it right.
Great.
Yeah.
We'll call her Rojin, so thank you, Rojin. We have, next up is Janice Miller of the Miller Haga Law Group, nominated by Jennifer Goddard Combs. We have John Musella of the Musella Group, nominated by Peter Warda. We have Terry Hillard Olson of Terry Hillard PC, nominated by Jennifer Goddard Combs. Next up is Louis Perry of Kadima Security Services, nominated by Oscar Garcia. And our last honoree is Julie Stankowski of the Stankowski Law Group, nominated by Jennifer Goddard Combs. Now, I can tell you that each one is an important mentor in our community. We're grateful to all of them, and especially to the nominators who took time to submit their application. And in a few moments, we're going to announce 6 of those nominees who will be given a Best Mentor honor. But before we do that, let's take just a few moments and discuss the impact of mentorship and the importance of it within an organization. So our panelists with us today are Tamara Gurney, the CEO and president of Mission Valley Bank, and Robin Choi, the regional president of Wells Fargo. So first, thanks again for presenting the 2020 Valley Mentors Awards. We're grateful for your support, and because of that, these awards are possible. So Tamara, why don't we start with you? Tell us, did you have a mentor when you were moving up in the ranks? And if so, how did that shape you and what did it mean to you?
Well, thank you, Charlie, for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here. I think prior to me moving up in the ranks professionally, I was raised for most of my young adult life by my grandparents, and I would not have used the word mentor at that point in my life, but truly he epitomized that for me in the sense that he would not just answer my questions when I was curious about something or I needed an answer. He would make me think and ask questions like what if, and you know, well, what about, think about this, and if you did that, which really developed my creativity. And I think I took that on my journey in my professional career and used that to advance from the early beginnings as a secretary to actually starting and running a bank. So I would credit him, and it meant a lot to me because it really prepared me for that journey ahead.
Okay, great, great. Tell us about your office. Tell us about how you manage mentorship in your office. How do you encourage it? Do you let it happen organically, or do you specifically assign veteran people to mentor younger ones?
I think in a lot of ways it does happen organically at Mission Valley Bank. Our institution believes heavily, and it's one of our core values, to be a trusted advisor, not only to each other, but to our community and to our clients. And that encourages people to mentor one another. But we also, so it does happen organically in that sense. But we also, as we bring in new folks into the family, if you will, we assign what we refer to as a buddy for them to help them navigate the ropes at the bank and learn the culture and be successful. And usually that's someone that is either in alignment with what their particular job responsibility is, or someone who complements that. But I think by the nature of being a group of true trusted advisors, and as you know, Charlie, Mission Valley Bank has received that designation from the Journal 9 times, which is every year that it was offered, which really validates to me that's who we are. So it means if you're a trusted advisor, you are looking around for opportunities to help one another and help our clients to be successful and to advance in their careers or in the success of their business.
Okay, okay, good. Tell us, you talked about assigning a buddy to people. If you see an employee needs guidance or help, how do you get a mentor to them?
First, we engage with that individual. I think it's a good thing to first identify the behavioral traits, if you will, of those individuals. We all communicate differently. We receive information differently. And if you get to know that individual a little bit, probe, you can identify someone who would be a better match for them, that would help them along the way better because you have similar behavior traits, understand and receive information the same way. So you need to, it's not just something you put two people together. It's typically not successful that way. You really need to take the time to understand one another. And again, I go back to trusted advisor. That's at the core of what that truly means to me. It's caring enough about the other person you're dealing with, and then knowing that you have the resources at your disposal to put someone together with them to help them along the journey, even if that happens to be yourself.
Great. Well, it sounds like it's pretty strategic at your shop. And Robin, let's turn to you. You hire veteran people. I'm sure you hire them based on a number of factors, what you're looking for. Is their track record of mentorship one of the things you look for?
So overall, when we do at the leadership level and up, right? So from branch to service manager all the way up to the most senior executive positions, one of the core competencies that we focus on is in developing others, and mentorship plays directly into that. It's beyond the scope of their direct responsibilities, and it's not uncommon. And I just think about the interviews I've done with my own open positions on my team. It's not uncommon to hear mentorship enter into the responses in a lot of the interviews. And you know, when we focus on the overall journey of a team member sort of advancing through the multiple stages within the organization, we do a lot of what Tamara has shared as well. We have a very robust, focus on doing some matching We allow things to happen organically. We also structure it, but more importantly, at the top of the house, and in an organization as large as ours, what's really unique is we have a full team, talent development organization within our business that actually does matching in a very formalized structure as well. So when you look at the top levels of this organization, levels 1, 2, and 3, there is a responsibility that those executives hold to engage in a formalized mentoring program with executives that are rising within the organization. So it certainly does play in, and feedback is collected by this organization on both sides to assess what the quality of that relationship was, and also to keep sort of that relationship going and work at any bumps in the road that happen to arise. But it certainly is important, and it does factor into the core competency of developing others.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you have any reward system or any incentive for mentors? Do you give them a bonus or anything like that? After all, the mentor may be taking time away, from his or her own work.
We don't have a formalized incentive system, but it is one of the leadership expectations that we have in place. And so when somebody is asked to be a mentor, that really is a responsibility. It's something that's taken seriously. The belief that we hold in the organization, and something I hold as well, is the mentorship relationship actually is beneficial to both sides, to both parties. For me, I mentor individuals across the state of California. I actually have 3 team members in different parts of the organization that I'm responsible for mentoring. And we connect roughly about an hour a month. And it helps me to stay connected, right? And it's all 3 of the individuals are outside of my direct responsibilities. They have no reporting up to my role here in the Valley. And so it allows me to have an unfiltered perspective from different parts of the organization, which really helps me inform the way I look at the business. So, I really see that as a tangible benefit. And I think, the other executives within the organization would largely feel the same.
Yeah, good. Just kind of a follow-up question, but can someone be too good of a mentor? In other words, can they spend so much time teaching and showing that they don't spend enough time doing?
When I think about that question, I really can't think of any instances where that was the case. I mean, I'll say, personally for me, having had many mentors, all of those relationships were quality. They extended well past, the set duration, because a lot of the programs I was involved with were very formal. But I think there's a mutual respect, right, that the mentee has in the relationship. They understand the obligations, the priorities of the executive that they're working with. So I don't think anyone can really be too good of a mentor. I think, the value that you give is the value that you gain. So if anything, I think it's complementary to what it is that we do, because we are so committed as an organization to the quality of the relationships that we have. And we do believe that the ability to really move an organization forward is going to come through influence and the quality of relationships, as opposed to sort of a top-down approach. So I think, if anything, it adds that value. You just can't be too good.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So in your book, it's fine if someone spends a lot of time helping others, showing them the way, mentoring them, that kind of thing. That's really interesting. Let's step back for just a second. One more question. How important is mentorship in your office? Is there a way to grade it relative to other aspects and qualities? How important is mentorship?
It's critically important. I have a team of 7 direct reports, and my 2 most senior district managers report to me. One of the things that we put in place in the beginning of the year was assigning a mentor. Did it really informally, very similar to what Tamara had mentioned. Took a look at what skills they were trying to develop. Took a look at my network within the organization to find folks that will not only have a commitment to the relationship, but also will be able to augment and help in that respect. And so in every one of my monthly one-on-ones, we bring up the conversation is, how's your mentor relationship going? What are you learning? What insights have you been able to gain in these conversations? So for me, having been a recipient on the receiving end as a mentee many times throughout my career, I know the value that comes from it. And as a leader, I'm absolutely committed to ensuring that my team members have an opportunity to have these sort of relationships themselves.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Tamara, same question for you. How important is mentorship in your office?
It's extremely important, Charlie. I think it's how we pass that knowledge along to the next generation of leaders that are coming up through the organization. I kind of echo what Robin said years ago. Starting in my community bank career, we looked to the larger institutions like Wells and others that had formalized training programs. And, tongue in cheek, I say, we tried to pick off the best and brightest after they went through those programs, because we couldn't, at the size we are, we didn't have the capacity, the resources to offer those kinds of programs. So, it's a different time now, but I really think that it's invaluable what you can share with one another, especially if there's a willingness on both parts to do so. You have to have the curiosity, and the talent and the skills can be acquired, but the curiosity, the desire to know. And, for people that want to get ahead, I always say, well, that's wonderful. I want you to advance, but who's going to take your position when you accelerate to the next level? So it's kind of a domino effect or a chain reaction, if you will. So it's really incumbent upon us, as we want to advance our careers at any level along that spectrum, that we're looking around to identify that next leader and share the experience that we've had that's led us to where we are, so that we can both work together towards strengthening the team overall.
Well, listen, thank you both for sharing your strategies and your best practices. It's really interesting to see how much leadership you both are showing in this regard. It's kind of more institutionalized in your shops than I think a lot of us would have imagined. So thank you for sharing that. In a moment, Tamara and Robin and I will name the top 6 Valley mentors. But first, I want to say that it really was difficult to winnow the list down to 6. We had really many great nominees. We culled those down to 20. We feel like the 20 were really winners. They were the final nominees, and we just couldn't get every deserving person on that list into our final 6. So all I can say is, please try again next year. There's always another chance if you didn't make it this year. Okay, so with that, let's get on with it. Let's name our best mentors of 2020. And by the way, you can read even more about them in the upcoming issue of the Business Journal. But in this meeting, we'll just mention some of the things about them that made them stand out. Okay, so let's get to it. First up, for over 30 years, this individual has assisted people in helping them achieve their goals, including those who are not his clients or employees, but just people he meets in the community. He has mentored and coached numerous staff members and people he's met through his civic involvement, and especially those who just needed a break or kind of a special hand up. Nominated by Jane Skeeter, our first recipient is Lee Cannon Alpert of the Alpert Bar and Grant Law Firm. Now, Jane wrote that she's known Lee for 14 years, serving on community and advocacy boards, especially ValPAC. And she said, and I quote, "He has an intuitive knack for seeing how a hardworking and deserving individual would benefit from his attention, guidance, support, and advocacy." And Jane went on to cite the example of another person, Marja Marhaba, who's a local general contractor. And Marja said that she retained Lee as her attorney. And again, and she said, and again, I quote, "He guided me through my situation and empowered me on how to address the individuals I dealt with. He gave me courage I did not have and made me realize my value." Now, eventually, Lee got her to join ValPAC. And since ValPAC is, as you know, composed of Valley area leaders, she wrote, "I never thought of me as a leader, nor did I think I would fit in with such a group. I asked him what he saw in me. He told me that my history as a first-generation immigrant and owner of a construction company and the founder of a nonprofit for children with learning disabilities spoke to his heart. He told me I was a leader and got me involved in an organization I did not think I had any business being part of." And finally, she said this, and again quoting here, "He sees the good in a person and he tries to draw that out. I consider myself blessed to be part of Lee's life. He is genuine, has a huge heart, and a pure soul." And I think we all know that that's true. Lee is well known in the business community and has been for years. He's been shaping tomorrow's leaders for decades now. So Lee, thank you for your many contributions. You are the very first recipient of our new Best Mentors Awards. Congratulations. And would you like to say anything, Lee?
Yeah, just a couple words. One is, first of all, thank you very much for the honor congratulations to all those others who are nominated, because it's a very important thing, at least in my life, mentoring. And thank you, Charlie, for the award. Thank you, Jane Skeeter, who in and of herself has mentored many, many people. I was very surprised when she asked me to do that. And Raja, whom you mentioned, is a wonderful human being, and it just has done so much for our community and for education and for children with special needs, in addition to her construction background. So these are great people. To me, I would be wherever I am right now if it hadn't been for mentors throughout my life, taking me through some very rough times in my life, keeping me out of trouble, getting me out of trouble, and then guiding me and showing me the way. And once I got out of whatever my surroundings were back in Detroit, I committed to do whatever I could for the rest of my life to help people in need. And so to me, we've heard stories of mentoring in business, which are critical and important to our society today. But to me, mentoring individuals, whether they're college students coming out, whether they're kids that have just come out of some precarious situations, et cetera, it's kind of a life enjoyment for me, and giving back is important. So I really deeply appreciate the award, and congratulations to the rest of you as well. And thank you for the honor, Charlie, and San Fernando Valley Business Journal.
Thank you, Lee. Really appreciate it, and it's good to see you as well, Arlene. And
thank you.
And it's really it's really gratifying to give you an award, because you've done so much through the years. By the way, we'll be sending award mementos to each of the 6 honorees. I don't have one with me. Colleen, can you show that?
Yes.
Do you have one with you there?
Yes. Can you guys see it? Everybody see it?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm mailing these out this week.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, Colleen. And as she said, we'll be sending those out soon. Now I'd like to bring back Robin Choi. And again, Robin is the regional president for Wells Fargo, as you know, and Robin will name our next 2 honorees. So Robin, take it away.
Thank you, Charlie. Now I'd like to name our next best mentor. It is Michael Coleman of Transamerica Financial Advisors. Michael was nominated by Adam Hancock, who said that Michael, quote, not only introduced me to a career in financial investment services, but personally mentored me in entrepreneurial success principles, such as a positive mindset, planning, goal setting and achievement, overcoming adversity, etc. Adam, the nominator, went on to say that he is quadriplegic, and he said that those success principles, quote, not only helped me improve my professional possibilities, but actively improved all areas of my life. Additionally, he has created a positive training environment to not only help others become successful professionally, but which focuses on honesty, integrity, and always doing the right thing for others. So congratulations, Michael Coleman. Would you like to say a few words, Michael?
Yeah, thank you, Robin. I appreciate it so much. Charlie, thank you for the honor and appreciation goes out to San Fernando Valley Business Journal, as well as all the other recipients. First of all, I just wanted to tell you that it really comes full circle. One of the things that, I don't know if Adam mentioned, but he was actually my soccer coach when I was a kid, when I was in high school. And so what happened was that, growing up in soccer, he taught me a competitive spirit. He taught me how to play well, in a team environment. He taught me how to, compete with the best version of myself. And, and so when it came full circle that he wound up going through his accident and he became a quadriplegic, I sought him out. And I never really saw any of, potentially what people would see as physical shortcomings. All I saw was my soccer coach that I wanted to work with. And so the fact is that many of the traits that he, mentioned about me were things that I learned from him, when I was in high school as one of hhis students. So I think that just being able to have a positive attitude, that was one of the things that I learned from him. And then, you kind of mentioned this as well, was, just being able to approach things, having courage to give it a shot, having integrity in all the things that you do, and then striving to be, the best version of yourself. I think that those are important traits. And, I feel that he is just one of the great business partners that I have. And I I feel that, you know, being a mentor is a true honor. So thank you guys so much for this wonderful, you know, honor.
Well, thank you, Michael, and congratulations again. And that certainly is an amazing story. Wow, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is David Fleming, who is a longtime local leader who is now senior advisor to Senator Robert Hertzberg. He was nominated by our first recipient, Lee Cannon Alpert. So you see how effective David's mentorship has been. In this nomination, Lee said, I quote, "He is generous with his time and money, is very humane, caring, and an engaging person with all, regardless of their standing, status, wealth, or ethnicity. He treated me and all others the same and encouraged everyone to get involved with the Valley and our organizations. He also encouraged some of us, like me, to get involved in broader municipal and state and federal entities, always for the benefit of the Valley. He was involved at all levels of politics and remains involved in our community. Dave has never been ashamed or forgotten the Valley, and he is a wonderful, down-to-earth man who, if he is your friend, will promote and help you regardless of the circumstances." Very well put, Lee. Congratulations, David Fleming. Would you like to say a few words, David?
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And working as I do as a senior advisor to Bob Hertzberg, he's got 80 people that are young people that are in college and high school, work in his office at volunteer time. And being around these young men, really, and ladies, it really is great for me. I'm going to be 86 years old next month. And being thanks, Peggy. Being around young people,
Congratulations.
really fun. It's really great. Thank you. Appreciate the honor.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
David.
you. Yeah, thank you, David, and thank you, Robin. Good job, and congratulations again, Michael Coleman and David Fleming. You're really great exemplars of what mentorship is all about. Now I'm going to introduce, I should say reintroduce, Tamara Gurney, the president and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, who will name our next two Valley mentors. Tamara?
All right, thank you, Charlie. So first up is an individual who is an active member of the community. The honoree is Karen L. Gabler of Light Gabler Law Firm. She was nominated by Angela Lopez, who wrote, and I quote, "Karen is very strategic. While my impulse is to act based on whatever seems best in the moment, her willingness to explain her tactical decisions helped me learn and grow, and I now approach all problems in a more mindful and deliberative way." Angela said, and again I quote, "Karen has always supported my decision to work part-time, even when she was the person most inconvenienced by my unavailability. I will always be grateful that I was able to spend so much time with my children when they were young." She went on to say that Karen models great community service and involvement and has encouraged others in the law firm to step up their community service. And Angela offered up a telling story. She said Karen encouraged her to drop a client development obligation that she did not particularly enjoy. Quoting again, she said, "Karen reminded me that hard-earned personal time is too valuable to spend on organizations that you do not feel passionate about supporting, and I always consider her advice now when taking on new obligations." Finally, she said, and I quote again, "I think I have done some of my best work while working with Karen. Like many great mentors, she always seems to expect great things. Not wanting to disappoint, I know I have done better work for her than I ever could have done on my own." Congratulations, Karen Gabler. Karen, would you like to say anything?
Absolutely. Wow, that's really touching. Thank you so much. You know, as an employment lawyer, I guess I have to start by saying that it's good to know Angela can never sue me because now I have that wonderful nomination. But it's really so touching to hear those words. It's easy to be a good mentor when you have a truly outstanding person working with you. I was blessed to have terrific mentors when I started. I had one in particular after my first big mistake who told me, "You can make a mistake every single day, just don't make the same one twice." And I had good people guiding me, and I've always felt that passing that on is important. I think the mentors really get the benefit of mentorship because you get the help, you get the support. I would not be the attorney I am today without Angela's help. I might not even be an attorney today without Angela's help. And it's just, it's wonderful when you're able to help clients, but to have somebody entrust their career to you is just really the biggest honor I could ask for. And I'm grateful to Angela and grateful to the San Fernando Valley Business Journal for the recognition. Thank you.
And a personal comment of mine, I really appreciate the commentary about you giving her the flexibility to spend as much time with her children as possible when they were young. When I was starting out my career, that was not the corporate mentality. So that was something very important to me that I've watched evolve over the years. So kudos to you for allowing that. I think it probably helped her a lot in her development.
Thank you. I do think that's very important.
So next up is Peggy Matsuda, another longtime and well-known Valley leader who now heads Peggy Matsuda Consulting, and someone I know very well and respect greatly. She was nominated by Rojin Kashanchi, who wrote, and I quote, "I entered the workforce extremely insecure of my talents and unsure how to manage the unique challenges of being a first-generation woman of color in business. Peggy was the mentor I yearned for. Despite her larger responsibilities as a C-suite member, Peggy would take time after meetings to provide me management coaching and executive insight. One time, after a particularly heated interaction, Peggy explained how she intentionally encouraged her colleague to emotionally vent so that she could more clearly understand his point of view and negotiate from a place of empathy. The takeaways she provided me about leading a team and decision-making were so profound that I reflect on and utilize these insights 8 years later." Rojin went on to say that Peggy's talent for creating what she called a remarkable work culture inspired her to follow in her footsteps as a nonprofit leader. Congratulations, Peggy. Would you like to say a few words?
Oh my God, I am so honored. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie and the Business Journal, and to the, to all of you, thank you, and especially to Rojin. I mean, Rojin doesn't believe this, but I learn from Rojin all the time. I mean, all the time, because we still talk. We haven't worked together for years, but we do talk all the time. And Tamara, you and Robin made comments in your opening comments about how we understand the value of being a good mentor, because we also have very good mentors that we could model ourselves off. And I just remember a particular mentor when I was in my late 20s, working for a big corporation, and just the listening, the letting me explain the things that I was thinking, and the places, the things that I want to do with my career. And it just was I just was so appreciative. And thank you so much. You guys know, a lot of you guys know me. I don't ever win anything. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. You're very deserving, Peggy. I know from observing interactions with you on many occasions, you look for the opportunity to give of your time and treasure to others to help them navigate things and learn and grow. So well deserved.
Thank you.
And with that, I am going to turn it back to Charlie.
Okay, thank you, Tamara. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you. And congrats again to Karen Gabler and Peggy Matsuda. Really great. We have one more Valley mentor to cite and to thank, and that is Louis Perry of Kadima Security. Now, Louis started Kadima about 15 years ago, and he's actively involved in the community. A little thing about him you may not know, he also loves boxing. He's, in fact, a state boxing inspector, and he's a director of the World Boxing Hall of Fame. The person who nominated him is Oscar Garcia, and Oscar started as an intern when he was in high school, and Oscar wrote that Louis's mentorship had a big impact on his life trajectory. Oscar gave this example, and I'm quoting here. Louis gave me the assignment of picking 3 companies that I would like to work for, and he instructed me to send each of the CEOs of those companies a letter. So I picked 3 companies, sat down and wrote a letter to each of the CEOs. A couple of weeks later, I surprisingly heard back from one, It was a handwritten response from the CEO. Then another responded. It was a form letter, but nonetheless, he replied. Now, the real lesson, of course, is that Lewis taught him the power of making a personal contact. And if you can't get in the front door, the personal contact can get you into the back door. And that lesson proved invaluable. Oscar said, and again, I quote, "My last two jobs, one in biotech data science and one in investment banking, have come from my skill in finding the back door." Oscar wrote of Lewis, "He made my world bigger. He taught me that if I really wanted to make something happen, I could." So I might add that on a personal note, I hope Lewis doesn't mind me saying this, but Lewis had a great upbringing, but it was not a privileged one. He has mentored a number of young people who also did not have privileged backgrounds, and he showed them how to achieve like he has. So congratulations, Lewis Perry. And Lewis, would you like to say anything?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of such a prestigious team. I want to mention one thing that is very important. For many, many years, through the LA Business Journal, I have attempted to reach out to the editor, not mentioning any names prior, but then they hired this guy by the name of Charles Crumpley, who came in and he made the whole environment friendly. He was able to meet with people, take phone calls, call people back, change the whole dynamic of what a leader is. And one of my mentors, without him even knowing, is Charles Crumpley, because he's always been an approachable person to everybody and anybody. And I thank you, Charles, for being a part of my life. And I'm honored to be a part of everybody watching and a part of the LA Business Journal. I always say simply, if you don't have the LA Business Journal on your desk, you don't have the edge to know what other businesses are doing in the community. Thank you, Charles, for being a great, great human being and accessible to many people. I've learned from you. I appreciate you. I respect you. And you are my mentor and the mentor of many others, because your door is always open. I love you. You're my buddy. You're my friend. And thank you so much. I'm honored to be a part of this Winning Valley 2020 Mentors.
Well, thank you, Lewis. And see, once again, there's the value of the personal connection. There you're making it again. No, Lewis, honestly, I'd be pleased if I could just keep up with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are our 6 Valley mentors in our inaugural class. We're a little bit hampered in giving them applause on Zoom, but please accept our gratitude to you and for all you do. And again, congratulations to all 20 of our Valley mentors, all the honorees. And as I said at the outset, you all provide important leadership. You are the ones contributing your time, your treasure, your mental bandwidth in helping others in our community to reach their potential. So on behalf of the greater community, thank you again. By the way, we'll have a virtual reception on September 17th for our Women's Council event, and I hope you log into that. It's free. And thanks again to our presenting sponsors for Best Mentors, Mission Valley Bank and Wells Fargo Bank. Thank you for allowing this to happen. Really, really very grateful to you. And once again, remember, you can read all about the Best Mentors and the honorees in the upcoming issue of the Business Journal. With that concludes our virtual reception. So thank you for attending. And I hope to see you in person, hopefully soon. This is Charles Crumpley saying so long. Thank you.